Hey guys, what's up? Andre here, xenomorph.com, and today we have a Rocket and Groot set. Well, actually this time it's called Groot and Rocket. It seems Groot is the main deal in this set. Well, it's obvious, I mean, because Rocket is basically a rehash from the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 release. But you will see every detail in the video review. For me, these are the first two Infinity War figures, which is definitely nice, and now I've really to think about if I want to get and shell all my money for the rest of the Infinity War figures. It will be a crazy ride in the upcoming months, or even years probably, the second movie. So let's check out these two figures here. Alright, for the box, as you can see, it's a nice slipcover box with some cool artwork of Groot and Rocket. High quality print, and you can actually pull this one up and you see the logo stays on the bottom. So definitely nice, clean, but really fitting to the actual mood in the movie. And you see there's even the logo of the Guardians. I mean, in the end, you got here the set. You can also go for Teenage Groot by himself, but being a completionist somehow, and I definitely have a big love for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just want to have, again, another Rocket, and then of course the main one here in this set is Teenage Groot. So I'm quite curious how this will look in the upcoming figure releases for Infinity War. As you can see here, it's Thanos' glove. Pretty cool. So and here we go with Teenage Groot. Look at the nicely painted eyes. I will show you close up later on. So let's zoom out with the full set and the Rocket, and let's go first for the accessories. So first highlight for me, and this is probably in general for the Infinity War releases, is this newly designed hexagonal shaped base. Look at this. Nice print, high quality. Then you have a slightly engraved or raised silver painted A for Avengers. Classic white on black text, and it's so space efficient. Look at this. You can snugly fit these figures next to each other and it will look awesome on a collector's shelf. But for example, when we look at the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 bases, you would have really some problem in actually displaying a lot of figures on your shelf, because it's just too wide and not as space efficient as the newly designed base. So this is really a good move from Hot Toys, and I hope that even, for example, the Hot Toys die-cast figures for Infinity War will receive such a base, so that you have really one stock base for each figure, and maybe as an addition this diorama type of bases. So let's go first for the accessories of Rocket. Being Rocket, he has of course a massive weapon arsenal, and in the past releases you got a lot of new weapons, and of course with this set again a huge massive rifle. And this thing is really high quality. It has nice paint application, some flexible parts here, and at the end it reminds me of a District 9 weapon, also because of the toning of the coloring here with this orange and red tones, and it's just a damn oversized weapon for such a small being as Rocket, and it's just cool. Also they added like a bandolier that you actually can use for having the rifle mounted on his back, so we'll try that out later on. Then of course for Rocket you have different hand sculpts and tiny feet. Just the usual stuff that you got with every Rocket release before. So for Groot we have two facial expressions. They're nicely sculpted and painted. You see they're basically like sockets to switch out. Here's a rather grumpy expression, where this one is rather a calm or I don't care teenage expression. I don't know. Anyway, but there's also a difference. This one looks straight, and here's a slide looking to the left side. I think overall the transfer from the prototype to the final product did not happen so well on the eye paint, because the eye color paint was much more visible on the prototype pictures. You see a bit of lighter brown on the sides and then a dark center, but I think it was rather visible on the prototype than on the final product. Still, definitely cool that they gave you two expressions. So then for the other accessories, here is his Game Boy or his console thing. Really nice. It's a bit plain on the back side, but I like the front, the buttons, some kind of Space Invader game, and definitely has this retro feel. Then an attacking hand, maybe for also recreating the scene where he grabs Thor's new weapon, a Stormbreaker. And here we have a futuristic rifle, also clean looking, nicely painted. And for Groot, actually, let's pan to the figure. You will see that he has some little sprouts going on, and these are actually added in the box in a separate compartment. These are 4 sprouts, one on the left side, and 2 on the left side and another 2 on the right side. And they actually go into small holes on Groot's body. I don't know why they solved it like that, because on the original Groot from the first Guardians, these sprouts were actually on top of the figure. And here, because they're a bit loose, there's definitely a danger on losing them. So let's stay with Groot. As you can see here, I gave him the Game Boy in his hand. It's basically just putting it into the relaxed hands. There's no real griping feature on the game console. But it's such a nice pose. I mean, that's definitely how Teenage Groot behaves. Just, he does not care about anything, just gaming. Just young adult life. Pretty nice. So let's see. As you can see, you can take off the portrait here. Looks a bit weird without the switch off portrait, and then attach again. For example, this now is the rather angry face, but a nice solution. And look at these little hairs up here, so nice. And also here on the actual top of the head, you will see that it's kind of a growing tree. So here is Groot in an attacking pose with the special hand sculpt, and as you can see, the figure is well articulated. So a lot of freedom in terms of the arm and the rotation. The head sculpt you can tilt upwards a bit, but rather downwards. And I think on the legs and feet they did a great job, because you can have him quite in a spread pose. Because of the feet articulation here, you always get a stable, really good, secure pose out of Groot. And maybe let's check quickly the paint application in this section. So you see he has these green highlights on the top, and all over the body it has a great mix of different colors. So it's not just brown, it's also some rather reddish brown tones. You see all the roots going down his body. So they did an amazing job in terms of the sculpting and painting. And this creature design is just magnificent. I mean, it was all digital in the movie, but imagine that you would actually recreate something with practical effects. That's probably amazing. I think they should do that. Oh, look at this. So the knee bend is amazing, so you can have him in a back jumping pose or something, tilting down his head. So there's a lot of freedom. And I think you don't give it to Groot that he's actually doing so much action, but when he gets in the mood to do something, then he's all out. Then of course we have a pose with the rifle. Unusual for Groot, but I kinda like it. I love these slender proportions and then this futuristic weapon. So this will be a great scene when you have all the other Avengers together. maybe some of the enemies. I think this will definitely look amazing. So you have two grabbing hands, especially sculpted for this rifle. I'm actually not sure what's the origin. If it's Asgardian or I don't know. Or is it from Wakanda? I have to rewatch in the Blu-ray. So a quick comparison with some different Groot sculpts from Hot Toys. I think I'm missing one. I think the one baby Groot which is not in a dancing pose. Maybe I have to check eBay. Now it makes somehow sense to have the full set. So this is from Guardians 1. Then we have the Guardians 2 baby Groots. This one came with Yondu, of course, in the bird cage. And then, of course, it jumps a bit into Teenage Groot. And just for you, for comparison, the first Guardians of the Galaxy adult Groot. And I mean, that's a massive figure. You will see then a final comparison with all the different figures. And I will put in a human-sized figure. So basically, this is a normal 1/6 scale figure, but this one is really massive. And you can see the coloring is definitely different. But if you find a way to get the original Groot, this is just a massive, massive figure and definitely an eye-catcher. Now with Teenage Groot together, it's a perfect addition, definitely. So as you can see, the sprouts on original Groot are directly attached, so here on the back side or here on the left, and they're quite flexible, where on the new one you have to attach it for yourself. Maybe they had complaints for the original one that somehow the sprouts fell off during shipping, I don't know. But yeah, that's not big of a deal, it's easily done, just attach the little sprouts and you're good to go. Alright, let's go to the sidekick in this set, which is actually Rocket. And as you can see here, this is now the bandolier with the rifle on the back side. It's all plastic, but really flexible. Here, as you can see, the hooks are attached. And of course, this way you will have a bit of difficulty to have him stand without the display base. You definitely should use this kind of feet on the right side, then somehow try to balance it. It will work with some bit patience. Like the structure here on the front side. It's definitely cool, a bit of a variant. So ridiculously oversized, but that is how Rocket rolls, so all good. Here the attachment of the right hand sculpt is not so natural. I mean, this band doesn't look really too natural, but yeah, that's not big of a deal. So of course we have to do this, a comparison of the two clones. So you can choose for yourself which one might be the one from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and which one is the new latest one from Infinity War. I think having them on shelf you won't see any difference. It's exactly the same product, and if you see any difference, it might be a small, I don't know, maybe it comes from the factory, it has a small paint difference here and there, but overall this is the same product, same kind of tailoring, same kind of sculpting. Even these pouches here and bags on the right side, these are the same, everything else. Also the roaring expression is the same, so to solve the puzzle, this one is the one from Infinity War, this one is the one from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah, you know, I mean, for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 you got two different variants of Rocket, and this one actually was the normal post, or in the normal version of the release you had the roaring expression, and in the deluxe you had an additional head. So that's a bit of a difference, because of the Infinity War release you only have the roaring expression, and then of course there are some different additional accessories. So for example, here you don't get the jetpack, it's just a plain backside, where on this one I originally had the jetpack attached, but of course for the comparison I wanted to remove it. As you can see here, the head sculpt, this is really the same. They're basically clones. It might be, it seems that this here has a bit of a whiter teeth, and this one has a bit of a yellow shade in it. So this is now the full arsenal of the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Infinity War Rocket. This is the latest released rifle, and you have the shotgun that came with the deluxe Yondu, the 2 guns that you had in a normal version of Rocket for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and this one was the huge minigun rifle in the deluxe version. And of course, as you can see here, this is the jetpack. Let's quickly check the Infinity War version if you can remove this backside. Yes, so you could actually fit also here the jetpack if you want to. Yeah, so I mean, I understand somehow Hot Toys' strategy on selling this as a set with Teenage Groot, because I mean there was no difference in terms of the Rocket costume and design between the 2 movies. And if you don't have the first Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or the deluxe version, I think this is really a good deal. And I mean, for me now, I've got now 2 rockets and a lot of big ass weapons, so I can actually use them to put on different dioramas and put him into different poses. That's also cool. Then let's go for a comparison with a human-sized figure. Here we've got my figure of the year, until now at least, Yondu on the right. Then we got Teenage Groot, Rocket, and the towering original Groot. So you definitely see the proportions. There's a lot more slender proportions on the Teenage Groot, but in comparison it's basically like a human-sized figure, just more slender, not so much depth to it. Let's wrap this video review up, and here, as you can see, this is the pose I will go for with Groot, just in this uninterested teenage mood, and Rocket all ready to fight. So final conclusion on the actual release. I think if you don't own Rocket yet, this is a good set to go. It's quite pricey. I think it's 350 at Sideshow. If you get it right now, it's even more expensive. And I compared it to the original set. So the original set was only $10 more, but there you had this massive Groot. But I think the price increase is okay if you get 2 figures. But it looks a bit different if you just get Groot by himself. So Teenage Groot by himself, it's its own figure release. He actually cost $220 US, which is massive. And I think the first Groot actually costs around $200 US, and the latest release now costs $220 by itself. So we have $20 price increase over the past years, and this is just not the inflation. It must be more. It's a common pattern now with Hot Toys releases. Yeah, and if you get that price point, I'm not so sure if you will be that happy with just having Groot by himself. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review of this set. See you soon and have a good day. Bye guys.